Hi, this is Jackie Kashian in the new pre-recorded The Dork Forest, TDF. That's right. It is September. What is it? I wrote it down. It's September something. 14th, 2010, and I am sitting in my living room with pre-recording equipment with two lovely dorks that are with me. The website's, of course, JackieKashian.com, dorkforest.com. We're being hosted by Libsyn. Something called Stitcher is going to make your phone it possible for you to just listen to this on like a Droid or a Palm. I sound like I'm 107. It's fine. I'm not a technological dork, it turns out. I'm more of a science fiction-y kind of. I would like to start a restaurant called One Wing to rule them all, and we'll sell chicken. Anyway, so there is on JackieKashian.com and dorkforest.com a donation button. I have gotten enough money to put this up. That's not going to encourage you to donate, but if you have not donated and feel an urge to donate, I will take your money, because there is some work involved, and I don't charge for the show, so if you want to donate, you can. Other than that, if you want a Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirt, you should get that on my merch page, the shopping page on my website, dorkforest.com. All right, sitting in the room here in Van Nuys with the air conditioning going. Hopefully they are happy to be here. Margie Kment, welcome to the program.
Oh, thanks, Jackie.
All right, and it is Margie, Kment.
There you go.
Thanks for playing. Margie Kment, who is a comic, and we're going to get into it, Broadway dork of all kinds of stamps, the Broadway dork. And then sitting to my right, Mr. Johnny Pemberton, stand-up comic, Minnesotan, and music dork, sweeping. Say hello.
Yes, all those things.
Okay. All of those things?
All those things and more.
Oh, and more? What else?
As far as dork goes?
Yeah, you were just saying before we started taping that you enjoy Islam. That you're fascinated by Islam.
I am pretty fascinated by that, yeah. I like, pretty fascinated by gardening and stuff.
Gardening dork.
I've been brewing beer for about a year now, and that is consuming as anything.
Is that consuming?
It's consuming as far as, like, dork. Like, the amount of mental energy you can put into, like, learning about that it's like a black hole.
It's hundreds of dollars to get started, isn't it?
It's not that much, actually.
Oh, really?
But you could spend a lot of money if you want to.
Right, but you don't have to?
You don't have to, no. That's the beauty of it. You can do it really cheaply.
Okay.
Can you make beer that tastes good yet?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The last beer we made is great, and this one we have coming up next is going to be incredible. So.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to need Margie to talk a little bit louder. She's very dainty. It's lovely.
You're sweet.
You're sweet. You're adorable. I met Margie Kment in New York City doing stand-up comedy, and I got to see her tell a fascinating story about the Sweet Valley High books. And
oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I was a Sweet Valley High dork as a kid. So
you were. That's right.
That was a natural.
Why wouldn't you be? You were reading. That's what we adults said when people picked up the Dragonlance series and the Sweet Valley High.
Oh, I used to be really into Dragonlance. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I used to be a D&D guy.
What is Dragonland?
It's a Dragonlance.
Dragonlance. Oh,
Lance. Pardon
that was
you.
Embarrassing.
Yes.
TSR role-playing fiction. That am I right?
Yep. That's it exactly.
TSR book. It's basically a division of Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a certain realm in the world. It's incredibly dorky and nerdy.
Right.
Yeah.
The volume just dropped for some reason. You get to be a technological dork too while you hang out with me, because a lot of things just happen. A lot of emotional things just went down. I wonder what's going to happen. I'm going to turn something up. I don't know what I'm doing. Recording level auto is on this device.
Well, I'm just going to keep talking.
Maybe I can fix it in post. What do you think?
You can fix everything in post.
Can I fix everything in post?
I feel like you can, unless it's not there to begin with.
Right. That would be a disappointment to us all. It does say that it is recording.
Okay.
That's good. Can you hear it?
You know what this reminds me of? Yeah, I can sort of hear it.
Okay.
Lost in space?
You know what? I can't really hear it through the headphones.
Oh, no.
It's but I'll tell you something. It is kind of interesting to me that that this is exactly what it was like 5 years ago when I started doing Blog Talk Radio, and I was like, well, what's happening? Is it working? And then there was like, yeah, it's working. And then we were like, see, it says now recording, right?
Yeah, it says now recording.
So we're recording.
The machine is.
I'd love to see some levels. Wouldn't that be nice?
Or maybe like an idiomatic expression on the machine, like, "Hey there, we're recording. Don't worry."
Yeah, something like that. That'd be fantastic. Oh, there it is. We're back. We got We're thanks for playing, people. I wonder if I should delete this in post. Do you want to start over? No. That was the running joke of the first show. Was that we would just keep starting over.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Every show that would become an irritant. So, but you were talking about...
I don't know, what was I talking about?
Could have been Islam, could have been music, could have been
Dragonlance.
You were talking about Dragonlance, yeah.
Right, which I read because my nephew was really into them, and I decided I wanted to have something to talk to him about. Like, if you had been my niece, Margie Kment, I would have read the Sweet Valley High books and been offended and horrified, much like I was with the Dragonlance series. Because you got to be 11.
You were offended?
It was just horrible. I had just finished reading, like, really good fantasy.
Right.
I, for the first time ever, had read The Lord of the Rings.
Okay, yeah.
When I met my nephew and he had started reading the Dragonlance books.
I had a friend in high school who read the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy while stoned on his roof.
In one sitting?
No, over the course of about 2 or 3 months, one summer.
It said you'd get stoned and just
smoke
break
weed,
it out?
Go out on the roof and read Lord of the Rings, yeah.
All right. Have you ever read Lord of the Rings, Margie
have.
Kment? Have
yeah,
you?
It was like my 6th grade teacher, just randomly said, whoever reads the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy plus The Hobbit first gets like a free snack at the snack bar.
Free snack.
And
wow,
so,
your children are simple. They're simple
Yeah.
people. They just want a snack.
oh, that's all.
That's all.
That's
Ice
all I
cream
want.
sandwich,
I still
ideally,
find snacks.
fruit roll up,
And it worked.
if they were out.
So you were 11 when you read The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Have you reread it at all since?
No, but I should because I really, really liked it. And
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
mom loves those books, and she,
One of my brothers, it's his religion.
yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would Galadriel do? He says it on a regular basis.
He was an elf, right?
Galadriel was the elfin,
Okay.
like the mama elf.
I've forgotten all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that many details, but I went and saw the movies, and I brought my mom to one of the movies because I thought she'd like it because she was the one who was like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings is great," and so we could bond over that. But she was like so bored during the movies. She kept like looking at me and like doing this little
Twiddledee, like
twiddling her thumbs. But what it was supposed to mean is wrap it up. Her fingers would like go over each other.
I kind of agree with her. I like the books with movies. I have a thing with long movies. I just can't stand long movies.
I don't mind. I liked Gandhi. I didn't mind Reds. So, I mean, if it's a really... And the thing is when I saw the Lord of the Rings movies, I remember being, blown away, wowed, bought the DVDs, have not watched them again.
Really?
And have reread the books twice since the movies came out. So...
There you go. Staying power.
They're staying... Now, the Dragonlance series, the first 9 are written by the same 2 people. Hickman and whatever.
I don't remember. It's been so
but then there's another 20 that are written by the publishers, just hired people to write them under the same font. And so they were not as good. So I read the first 9, and then I read a couple after that.
Yeah.
So Sweet Valley High, they're little soap opera-y kind of things, like sort of romancy, but high school romance? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Well, and then they came out with Sweet Valley University too, which kind of flopped.
Sure.
But I remember trying to read that, and that was rough for me because I think I was 10 or something when those came out, and so I had read all of Sweet Valley High, so I picked up Sweet Valley University, but it was they were doing stuff. They were touching. They weren't just talking about doing stuff. They were actually doing stuff. And, and it was just, I went to Catholic school, and so I was just very... red-faced.
Blown away.
And I hide the books from my mom because I was afraid if she opened them,
she would.
They couldn't have been that bad, but at the time, I mean, my heart would beat so fast as I read them. I'm I shouldn't. This is wrong.
Oh man, that's great though. It's it would be nice to. Wish I could have read something that I felt that way about that age. It would have been so exciting to. This is so bad.
I grabbed what looked like a dirty book, but it was. And I remember my stepmom going, "What is that?" Because it was it was a mostly naked Indian dude, Native American gentleman, standing by a pool of water, and it was it wasn't dirty enough. I thought it was going to be more, and I ended up reading The Chosen, and that is just a coming of age book for the Jews and how
really
Israel
spicy.
Not spicy at all. No. What you don't want to know is the coming of age book of young Jewish men in 1946. It usually meant were they going to go fight for Israel or weren't they? That was the coming of age. It wasn't them getting laid.
Yeah, right. maybe later on it was implied, but didn't.
Right,
There's
right.
no show and tell.
It wasn't Portnoy's complaint. I don't know. Did you ever read that, Philip Roth?
I haven't.
It's a classic of masturbatory. It's about, and it's written by Philip Roth, who has a new book out this year, I think. Mm-hmm. And it's mostly just, it's him masturbate. It's about a young Jewish coming of age, but that's all masturbation. It's not
just him
getting
talking
laid.
about masturbating.
Yeah.
There's sort of like, what's his name? I'm totally blanking on his name right now. He wrote "Wake Up, Sir." Jonathan Ames, is that it?
Jonathan Ames? Okay. Well, someone should email me, JackieJackieCashian.com.
He doesn't talk about masturbation, so I guess he does. He gets into all kinds of very nasty stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he's like all these weird proclivities with transsexuals and stuff. And
okay.
He's a great writer.
Sure.
But those books are...
The thing about great writers is that you can be the greatest writer in the world. If you're writing about something super creepy, I don't want to read it. A Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich... That is incredibly well written. Super boring because he's moving rocks. It's about a Russian dude in
the Gulag.
In the Gulag, yeah.
Breaking rocks.
Breaking rocks. Now that might be something.
It's mainly moving rocks, or is mainly breaking them?
I can't even remember. It was one day in the life of Ivan.
Did you finish it?
I did because it was a sign.
Okay.
And I didn't even go to the Cliff Notes on that.
Yeah.
What did you have you guys read? I don't know why we're talking books now, but we're talking books. The Scarlet Letter.
I never read the Scarlet Letter. No.
Oh, I read it in high school. Very vague.
Assigned, right?
Yeah.
Because you see, there's a new movie coming out based on the book.
Oh. Based on the book,
but it's a teenage sex romp about this woman who
they modernized it.
They modernized it. And she's. One of her friends is gay in high school, and he's getting beat up all the time. And he's like, "Just say you had sex with me." Oh. And so she did it, and then this fat kid comes over to her and says, "Hey, I hear you're willing to tell people that you put out to give them some cred." And she becomes the faux slut of high school. It's kind of a cute.
Yeah.
It's a cute premise of promiscuity. Promiscuity.
The Scarlet Letter. What are they going to call it?
I don't know what it's... But she essentially sews a red letter on her sweater and wears it all over.
So there's the tie-in.
A Scarlet Letter, if you will.
If you will. A red scarlet A for adultery. But she's not married.
No.
But she's assigned the book in high school.
Oh.
And then it all comes back together, and it's...
So we've talked about my dorkdoms a lot. Let's move on to something you guys enjoy, like music and theater.
Theater, yeah. The two go well together. And when you put them together, you get Broadway.
Musical theater.
Which is musical theater.
You're not into musical theater so much?
Not really. I mean, I don't have a problem with it all. It's just not
I'm
something
not offended or anything.
Yeah, I just never...
No, it's a safe space.
It's rare.
I did see Jesus Christ Superstar
live
in high school in Minneapolis, and I was like, this is really amazing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
but almost all live theater is amazing.
Yeah, because you can't help it be amazing.
You're like,
it has to
memorized all of those words in a row.
And you're dancing, and you're doing that flip, and all kinds of stuff.
And you're walking over there and picking up that book every night. Yep. Every night you're picking that book up and saying that line. It's acting.
Yeah.
It's live. It's not like television acting where you're like, well, we'll try that again. You had to memorize 7 lines.
Try something new. Do it. Just, explode space.
Right. It's first take. First take.
Yeah, it's exciting. But, I mean, isn't that what we do in comedy, too? Kind of.
Sort of.
So, yeah.
We sort of learn our things. And
right. So maybe that's what people think when they see it. But when I see Broadway, it's always... Because it's such an ensemble moment. I mean, what do you love about Broadway? What do you love about theater?
Oh, man. It's like... It's dorky. Like a good musical, because like I don't like musical comedy, which might be surprising because I really like comedy. I like really dark musicals that like make tears stream down my face.
Is that
like Good Night, Saigon?
Oh, like Les Mis is dark.
That's
dark, for sure. That was like the first musical I ever saw on Broadway, so very special place in my heart.
Isn't that about the sad children? Is there miserable children? I'm uncertain what Les Mis is about.
It's based on Victor Hugo's novel about the student uprising. It's a love story and
injustice and rebellion.
Oh yeah, and Jean Valjean is a criminal, and he's trying to
But he's in love, right?
Out of prison.
Is he in love?
Jean Valjean's not, but the daughter he adopts, who's like abused. Oh, it's really like dark, and they sing about it. And
I accidentally saw Cats once.
Accidentally?
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I think I saw it when I was really young, yeah.
I'm not a fan either. Actually, my boyfriend, that was the first musical he saw. He came to Anchorage, Alaska. For whatever reason, he saw a commercial on TV, and he was like, I have to see Cats. I have to see Cats. He was like 9 years old or something.
Right.
So a family friend took him to Cats, and he was so disappointed.
Right,
He
it's
was
about
like,
cats. Who gives a hoot?
No, and that's what he said. He was like, I don't know what I was expecting. I knew the cats weren't going to be real, but
And it wasn't
it
enough
sucked.
about cats. It was anthropomorphized cats.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I saw Phantom,
right.
and I was unmoved by Phantom. But the
Okay.
thing is it's not that I don't appreciate the work that's been put into it,
Yeah.
but I just,
I'm with you. I don't like Phantom either.
Okay.
Andrew Lloyd Webber. They're both Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals.
Cats
Right.
and.
He's kind of got a thing going on.
He has a thing going on. He's very popular. So,
But didn't he do
I don't really
stuff
care
that was
for it.
huge? Didn't he do
He did
Jesus
Joseph,
Christ?
and
He did, and
Joseph,
right.
Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
He
saw
did, and
that.
you like those.
Yeah,
Right.
Those
I
are
mean,
Catholic. Did they do that at your Catholic
Yeah,
school?
yeah, I went to Catholic school.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Oh, you both went to Catholic school?
Yeah, yeah.
Aw.
I went to
No
Catholic
wonder
high
you're such
school.
clean-cut young folk.
Yeah, I think we did. You went earlier and I went later, so basically.
Oh, you went to like
Yeah.
high school and
Yeah,
you went to grade school?
Grade school and part of high school.
Oh, okay. And
So
you
she got out where I got in.
right.
Yeah.
And then you were just there. Were there actual nuns?
We had a couple nuns, but they weren't wearing
We had
habits.
priests and
Okay.
deacons, but no nuns.
Yeah, we had some priests too.
Okay.
Some real crazy priests
Was it
too.
were they Jesuit schools?
Not-
Or were they were not?
Mine was not.
because the Jesuits are supposed to be
They're different.
Yeah, they're different and encouraging.
Right. We had the ours were
As
the,
opposed to the
I think
Friar
ours were
Tucks of the
from a
world.
CC. The sisters
Okay.
of a CC. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're just bossy
Yeah, bossy and stern and
angry.
Yeah, and they had like very bony hands.
Like I always did. My stepmother's a Catholic, and she was raised Catholic schools and stuff, and she loved Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Really?
I have always wanted to see it. I never did. I like Jesus Christ Superstar. That was almost a religious experience for me.
Really?
Because it was amazing. You were
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, I thought-
he's kind of a guy.
I like those two better than Phantom and Cats.
Yeah. How about Chess?
Definitely.
Huh?
Chess is also Andrew Lloyd
That's
Webber.
a music.
I know.
That's a musical. It's called Chess.
Yeah,
and it's,
it's
and
not
it's
that
about the
well-known.
fascinating
Oh, I've never
world.
heard of that. Of
It
chess?
has some good songs. Yeah.
They have
Is
some. One Night in Bangkok was the hit that came out of it. That's horrible.
I've never heard that ever.
One
That's
night
so
in
funny.
Bangkok and the da 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 da. I don't even remember
Yeah.
the words,
Wow.
but I've
Yeah.
seen it 3 times. I've
How
seen
old is
Chess. It's probably 1988.
Yeah, 80s.
So does
Yeah.
it have like a Bobby Fischer sort of thing going on, or no?
Bobby Fischer is referenced, but
Really?
it's essentially it's a Cold War drama of a Soviet and an American
Okay.
chess. It's like an
So
Olympics
it's
kind
like,
of thing.
who was the famous Soviet who beat Deep Blue? What's his name?
Khrushchev? No, I have no
No.
idea. I got.
Oh.
There's that
Couldn't
IBM
tell ya.
program that
Oh,
was
right,
supposed
right.
to be is good enough to beat a grandmaster in chess.
Right, and the
And that-
Grandmaster was Russian.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
All right.
Someone should know this here.
Right. Well, I don't know. I don't have a lot of chess dorkdoms, but
Okay.
I saw chess
How much?
in London, and
Did you like that one?
I loved.
Yeah.
See, chess is, it's terrible but great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So you mean it's sort of like campy, or what is it?
yeah, it is more campy. And my love of musicals dates more to like Guys and Dolls and The Music Man.
Oh
and,
yeah, and that's so great. And that's musical comedy, but those are classics. I
Right.
love Rodgers and Hammerstein and all that stuff. And
Well,
growing
there's-
up in Iowa, The Music Man is like
Oh my
done
God,
at every
it's a
high
Big
school
deal.
every year.
I
you
did
know?
Music Man in my high school. I did the
Yeah.
Guys and Dolls, all that stuff. That was a big thing. Like half the schools in the play.
Yeah.
So there's no one to watch it because every student has some.
Because
little
you grew up
tiny
in
part.
Rochester, Minnesota,
Yeah, Minnesota,
home of the
yeah.
Mayo Clinic.
Home of the Mayo Clinic. That's all.
Yeah.
I did stand up there once, and the audience was not receptive.
Really?
Early days, long time
Yeah.
ago. And I remember the only laugh I got was, how many people are just killing time waiting for a loved one to die? And just coming up to the show. And best laugh of the night. Best laugh of the night.
Yeah, I feel like everyone there is either in that situation where they're there because someone is horribly diseased, or they're some sort of displanted genius from some
right,
bigger
they're
city. Yeah,
because they're looking to fix it.
yeah, or like
They either
at the
work
clinic.
there or they're
Work there, or
they're
they're-
receiving
Yeah.
treatment.
So,
So what about, is there like I don't know, there has to be an infrastructure of people who live there that are neither geniuses nor terminally ill.
yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah,
Okay,
There's- There's a lot of people. There's a lot of normal people who live there, but
Sure.
definitely, I grew up calling everyone doctor, not really realizing that I would call someone, if I met someone's dad, I'd just address him as doctor or whatever, just because it just, to me,
It was like Mister?
yeah, it was like Mister. It really was. I still feel kind of weird calling someone Mister because it just doesn't sound right.
Right, because almost everyone's a doctor.
Yeah, almost everyone I knew.
Are
was a
your
doctor.
parents doctors?
My dad's a doctor. Yeah,
Yeah? Is your mom a doctor?
she's not. No.
Was your brother a doctor?
Nope.
Your sister a doctor?
Nope. Not
Good.
yet. I mean, they're all younger, so
Okay.
There's still
There's
possibility
still time.
of
They
being
could still go.
I have a question. Now that we're all adults, are there people that we're still supposed to call Mr. and Mrs.? Because I don't, but I get a little nervous.
I think we're supposed to at some. I think there are people, the elderly,
I still
okay.
say Mr. just because it's like I feel like
Yeah.
because we were all raised
Yeah.
in the Midwest where you called your friends, your parents, Mr.
Oh,
Brady.
yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or doctor
Yeah.
in your
You just
case.
get doctor.
But now I feel like we're all adults.
Right, we
just
should all
call
be
each
able
other
to.
by our first names.
it's all
What-
about that discrepancy, right? It's all with the age discrepancy. Isn't
When
it?
do I stop calling
Yeah.
somebody Paul Burge's mom? I was like, hey, Paul Burge's mom.
I don't know. Yeah, I stopped doing that at some point in time. It still feels good though to say that.
It does. It feels a little respectful. It feels
Yeah.
a little Norman Rockwell, little nice.
Yeah.
Sure. So now, what musical comedies don't you like? What are you talking about that you don't like some musical comedies, Margie Kment?
Well, it's not that I don't like them. I just don't get as excited about them, I guess. Like The Producers is an excellent Broadway musical.
You're
but,
unmoved?
Yeah, I think a lot of times with musical comedy...
What about Jersey Boys?
Well, Jersey Boys isn't really a musical comedy, but that's pretty good. That's like a jukebox musical that I think actually works.
You go there to hear like your songs, right?
Yeah, but they have a good storyline behind it, and that's one thing I usually don't care for is like
Story.
like Mamma Mia is the music of ABBA set to a story that I'm not that interested in or whatever.
Right.
But Jersey Boys, for whatever reason, the story's kind of
The story actually worked?
Yeah, Jersey Boys is like an exception. Normally,
What about Witches? You see Witches?
Wicked.
Oh, Wicked. That's it. It's called Wicked.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
not Witches.
Yeah, I've seen Wicked, and that's good.
I
And
haven't
there's
seen
like
it with
musical.
people.
And
I
Rent?
like those dark things. Oh, Rent. I was a super nerd. I
Rent
got.
nerd.
Oh, I got
Rent
the,
nerd.
Oh my gosh, I got the Christmas of '96. I was like 11, and it had just won the Tony, and my parents got me the CD for Christmas because they always just got me.
Because
like,
you grew up in
Rent.
Iowa.
That's
You
awesome.
grew up in Davenport.
Yeah, and so Glee was not on the air. I didn't have anything.
Right, there was no go-to.
It was like my favorite day of the year was the Tony Awards.
Okay.
You know, and
Wow.
so,
Funny.
and I was the only one,
Huh.
and I would learn, my dad had like AOL, and I would go online.
Keyword
they had
Tony?
like, yeah,
Keyword Tonys.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would have been the keyword.
Yeah, and so I got Rent for Christmas, and I listened to it all day and all night and everything. And then I went online, and there weren't very many websites at that time, but there
Right.
was I don't think. Maybe I just didn't know how to look
We're
for
not
them.
like not.
I-
96. No, there would have
that's
been
early days.
I got
early
on
days.
this. I got on this Rent like email list.
Oh, like Billboard and
BBS?
bulletin board?
It was like
I know
it
what
was
you're
like a
talking about,
group.
yeah.
Do you know, it was
Oh, yeah,
a
like an
digest.
AOL group.
like a digest,
Yeah.
yeah. And I would get like 200 emails from these Rent fans every day, and they were all and they were the same 10 people, and I was like 11 or 12 at the time, and they were all adults, but they would put up with me
Right.
writing, and they thought I
That's
was
funny.
just like this cute little kid who liked Rent, and so that was my role, and so I learned all their names and like of the people who were in the cast, and I was just this knowledgeable. Where is that?
I don't know where my phone is.
I'll get it.
My phone's gone
I'll do
wrong. Yeah. Keep talking about Rent. The thing about Rent is, didn't that guy die August? Was he from Minnesota?
Who?
The guy who wrote
Jonathan
Rent.
Larson.
Yeah.
I don't know where he was from, but he died like the final dress rehearsal. Before
Right. He never got to see it up. Is that correct?
Right. Well, yeah, he got to see like the
The guy who
workshop
wrote
version,
it
but
never got to see it.
yeah, he had like an aortic aneurysm. That was where I
Jeez.
learned what an aortic aneurysm was. When I was
Because
11.
the man who wrote Rent got that.
Yeah.
This is a lot of dork cred, Margie Kment.
The Rent thing was on another level because when Rent would come to Iowa City, like
You gotta
I
go.
would beg my dad. I was like, we have to stay the weekend. We would
You want to
I
see
would
more than one performance?
go with my
or?
friends. Oh yeah, I wanted to see the matinee and then the evening
Right.
show, and we'd sleep out on the sidewalk like you would for music tickets, but for Rent tickets.
Whoa.
And and I was just this kid, and my dad was like, you know what? We're not going to go to Rent this weekend. We'll go next weekend. I'm like, well, I want to go both weekends. I have to go both weekends because when does Rent ever come to Iowa? And so my dad said no, and so I went on my mailing list, and I was
Right.
like, parents just don't understand, whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy, Frank, who was like this 60-year-old lawyer, is like, I'll pick you up. I'll take you.
Man, I would your
and
dad
so
love that.
I know. I told my dad, I was like,
Dad, Frank's taking me to rent.
Frank's gonna take me to rent. Who's Frank? Oh, he's this.
He's this guy on
He's
this
this
board.
lawyer.
Yeah.
He's like, you know,
man.
60 years old. And he's a big fan. He's gonna pick me up and take me. And my dad's like, I'll take you. So
Yeah,
we
it
went.
turns out.
That's a great way to get parents to do stuff.
It's some serious blackmail.
But I
Have
didn't
you?
even realize. I didn't even realize. And then, of course, my dad takes me, and he goes home, and he tells my mom. So I met Frank, and he actually is a 60-year-old lawyer, big rent fan.
Perfectly
nice
dork.
But,
who
that
isn't
was
going to creep my daughter out and do anything horrible.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
funny.
So what did you do, Johnny Pemberton,
What do you mean?
to manipulate your parents into
just
letting
that
you do
thing
stuff?
where it's like, you know, if you need,
I'm going to go hang out with the Marines.
Like
Yeah.
there was a time. This was not that long ago, but I was in Minneapolis. I needed a ride down to Rochester. I was like, no one's available to give me a ride. I'll go on Craigslist and do the shared ride thing. My mom was like, "No, you can't do that." Like, no, it's all set up. It's fine.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know him, but he'll pick me up. So, okay, we'll figure something out. It's like, all you have to do is just do that. And
Threaten
it's like,
anyone with Craigslist.
with
And they're just
anonymity,
like,
the scariness of someone you don't know.
Right, because we're all afraid of the... And I
Yeah.
only think... I think the percentage, because court TV seems to be dedicated entirely to those people, to the bad guys.
Right.
And they're just like, you got to watch your kids 24/7, otherwise somebody's going to touch them in their hoo-ha.
Right.
And you're just like, no, they aren't. Probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
97% of the humans on the planet, I think, are fine. And then 3% are creepy, but there's a lot of people on the planet. I mean, you're going to run into a lot more people who aren't. And who will defend. I remember I was in New York at the Grand Central Station or something like that, and there was an older lady with 2 tiny children, and I don't know when this was. Well, who cares? And she was like, "Hey, will you watch my kids?" And they were probably 5 and 7. She's like, "Will you watch my kids? I'm going to go get something to eat." And we'd both been waiting for the bus, and I was like, "What? Yeah, sure. I'll keep an eye on them." And so they were just playing by themselves, amongst the stuff. And this, dude comes up to him, homeless dude comes up to him, he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And he was probably fine.
Right.
And but I had the knee-jerk reaction of, hey, those kids are with me. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Except for, and he's like, okay, just making sure somebody's looking after him. And I was like, and it was just a weird homeless dude who wasn't going to do anything to them anyway.
But you're on guard. You're ready to go.
I was on guard because we got to be on guard now.
Got to be ready to go.
So that's it. We're
9/11.
going to drink bottled water, right?
Right.
And so John, have you been to a lot of? Well, actually, we'll come back to, because I want to hear, Margie, when you moved to New York, you must have been like, it must have been the giant hard-on of your life.
Oh my God! I was going to the theater it was before I started doing stand-up,
right?
Where my nights sort of got busy, but I just go to musicals.
Just musicals over. Like,
well,
did you
in plays, but a mix.
Like, what are like, name like 3 or 4 great musicals? Did you see 9 to 5?
No, that's a musical comedy that I feel like, I don't know. There's reasons why that musical didn't
grab you.
For me.
Is that based on the movie?
It is based on the movie,
and I do love Dolly Parton.
I love that movie.
Love Dolly Parton, and I love
and
that
she's
movie.
in it.
But as a musical, it didn't really work for me.
I
But
can
I
see
love
that.
Stephen Sondheim. Really, anything.
Oh, that's right. Into the Woods was the only one I knew.
Oh yeah, and
offhand.
I saw like Sunday in the Park with George. That's like a really great.
I never
one.
saw that one.
It's
Yeah,
kind of obscure but amazing. And
What's it about?
Company.
You ever seen that one? I'm Not Rappaport.
No.
Oh, okay. I always want to see that because I like the movie a lot.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's that one?
It's just dorky comedy about. It's not really dorky. I don't know why I said that. Just the word dork has been forced into my brain from this.
Right, because we're working on a theme,
Right,
but
yeah.
you don't have to worry about it.
But it's just comedy. It's Walter Matthau. I can't remember who else it is. I think it's Walter Matthau.
Jack Lemmon?
It's just 2
Lemmon?
old men. It's just 2
Right.
old men who are like. It's like grumpy old men, but it's not as.
They're not as old.
I don't know. It just.
Was it made in the 60s? When was it
I
made?
don't even remember it now. Oh, the movie was made like 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know, but I think it's from a play, though, right?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, I actually don't know. I'm gonna write that down.
It's pretty
It's
funny.
got the word Rappaport in it?
I'm Not
Yeah.
Rappaport, yeah.
Okay. I'll look it up,
And
people.
I don't think Michael Rappaport's in it, so. You guys are writing this down. This is cool. I'm like
Sure.
giving
You-
some,
gotta-
dropping some knowledge.
Dropping
here.
some knowledge. I'll rent a movie on some
Yeah.
chitter chat, and then I did a podcast yesterday, and there was a kid. His entire job was to log things. Like
there's a lot
I'm
of
Not
people who do that.
Rappaport was mentioned at minute 34.
Right.
So let's and then there's like a notes section that you can put for the
Oh, you
the
can
show,
annotate it so you can.
so that people are like, oh, okay, I can go find that. Like the first show for the Dork Forest, I had a musician on named Mike Rickberg who helped me set up this system.
Wow.
And Mr. Jim Wooster, stand-up comic, also sketch comic, does "Oh You and Your Bone Spurs" is the name of his sketch comedy group. And at minute 25, Mike Rickberg sings what words he made up to the Mexican hat song, which is "My hat, my hat, my hat. I'm dancing around my hat." Okay, and it goes on like that. Right. And it's hilarious, and everyone should listen to episode 1 of the pre-recorded version to hear the full on, because it's great. So what plays do you like? I mean, what did you like when you first moved there? How did you afford it? Isn't it expensive?
It is. Well, a lot of the big shows have like a student rush, and which means you like either stand in line or they have a lottery or something like that. Actually, Rent started it because it was so popular and they didn't like people sleeping on the streets of New York, so they invented this like new concept of a lottery thing where it was affordable. So you can get like $20 or $25 tickets that are actually really good seats. So when I was
as long as you have a student ID or
some for just the general public, and then some with a student ID. And I wasn't in college anymore, but my college ID didn't have an expiration date.
Sure.
Yeah, they don't care. They just want to fill the seats.
I think
anyway.
they like having people who
they like the effort.
Yeah, they like.
Oh yeah, totally. So
you gotta like that.
I spent some time sitting on the ground waiting for them to call my name and things like that. But Spring Awakening had just opened on Broadway when I went, so that was one I was taking friends to because it was kind of the hot musical of that year. It was pretty good. Duncan Sheik wrote the music, which is kind of
I remember
funny.
hearing about that.
Yeah, and so that was good. And Company, I was actually working for like some Broadway producers when I thought that was going to be my career path at one time. And they had produced Company, which is a Sondheim musical that I
his plots are always so. I mean, the reason I think you like him is because you said you like dark, and I remember Into the Woods had the best line. It's like, "I'm charming, I'm not sincere," or something like that.
Yeah,
Prince Charming had some sort of line about.
Oh yeah, the princes in that are really like funny and charming.
Just the biggest dicks in the world, and you're like, oh, okay. I suppose if you're, I mean, that's what they would be like.
It's just, and I don't know if you're very familiar with Sondheim, but like that's what I always recommend to people who are like, I don't think I like musical theater, because the music is actually right. It's like sometimes very complex and like so and I don't know, like it just evokes this sort of emotional reaction, which I guess is what I like from theater. So if it's that kind of musical theater, and then like some interesting kind of avant-garde
performance.
Yeah, and like plays that do kind of interesting.
I accidentally saw some performance art down when I first moved here. Well, not.
So you accidentally?
Yeah, okay. I was invited. It was a date.
On the subway?
It was and all of a sudden there was nakedy, bendy, hairless people.
Oh.
And there was a because that's what it always is when it's terrible performance art.
Yeah.
There's nakedness. There's bendy and hairlessness.
Bendy means like you like moving around, like stretching and stuff.
Stretching and finding out how hairless they are.
Okay, like so showing parts that are.
No one should.
In the normal
I don't
position,
necessarily.
Yeah.
As a group, I don't think we needed to see that.
Most performance art is really bad, but when you see something that's good, it really sticks with you.
Right, because it can be. I mean, and I like the guts that it took to put on the performance art. So you kind of want to be supportive of it, but you're like, how can you be sort of self-aware and sort of self-absorbed, like to the point where. Like, I saw one time somebody put a vibrator up their butt while listening to Cher.
Wait, you went and saw this where?
It was in Minneapolis. It was at Balls.
That sounds like a very Minneapolis thing. Because Minneapolis,
it was
that's a good theater town. They do a lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah, they do Guthrie.
There's a lot of art there.
Well, because there's always fringe stuff happening. So.
Yeah, it's risky, and that's I think what tired me out a little bit on theater when I first moved to New York.
Because you want to support it, but it's exhausting.
Yeah, and if you see like a bad night of theater, it really kind of it's like, oh man.
Is it worse somehow than seeing?
I think it is draining.
It is draining.
I saw
and
Kiss
it's always
Me
long.
Kate in London, and it was like the worst thing ever.
Oh yeah.
And it was so bad.
I've seen a good production of Kiss Me Kate, but that's musical comedy, so it's not my favorite.
And
it's
is that based on Taming of the Shrew?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that is? Okay. It's
much more interesting to see Taming of the Shrew than see that.
Yeah, I started to, and I do this with comedy too. Like if I'm going to see a show, I really try to pick. I get picky.
You get picky?
With theater, I get picky. Like,
so you think you missed something by getting picky, or no?
I probably do, but I also get to see a lot of really good things when I'm picky. And so, like, in New York, like,
and it
BAM,
can be expensive. Yeah.
Brooklyn Academy of Music. Do you know Brooklyn Academy of Music?
I don't.
Well, they have theater series that comes in, and most of their stuff is, like, the best stuff coming out of Europe, all over, like Germany, London, whatever. And so they bring it, and it's always this very interesting, fresh.
Yeah.
You know that it's going to be great because
there's going to be something happening.
It's not the first premiere. It's happened in Europe, and then they bring it to BAM.
Right.
And their student tickets, $10.
That's
so those were the plays that I would always see because I'm like,
well, it's one of the gifts of the Upright Citizens Brigade here in Los Angeles and in New York is that they do a little research. Mm-hmm. I said doo-doo. They do a little research into what is coming, and they give away those spots relatively freely. Yeah. But they do research into them.
Yeah.
And then they only charge $5 or $8.
Right.
$8 maximum.
Pretty cheap. Yeah.
To see a show, and I think that creates a space where art can really flourish.
Yeah.
But there was a slew of shows at the UCB not long ago where everybody was throwing up and pooping on stage.
No, that was a while ago. It was a
couple years ago.
The Dirty Sketch Show or whatever. I only heard about that.
I participated in a couple of those. And
did you, Johnny Pemberton?
Pretty nasty things, yeah.
Yeah? And did you feel like you grew as a human being being part of it? Or
I don't feel like there was any growth, really, but there wasn't anything detrimental. It was fun.
Okay, it was just fun. And,
it was all fun.
It was all good, clean fun.
Before I was going to do a show at UCB, and I met somebody who's like, "Oh, where's your next show?" UCB, and he goes, I went there once. I took a first date to this show,
and
this guy.
And it was that.
This guy took a shit on the stage, and I can't go back.
Yeah.
It was Paul Rust. I found out later that evening, which is so funny because I know Paul, and I was like, I'd never heard of it before.
That's the guy who took the poo?
Yeah, Paul. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm sure he's doing other things now, and so people should maybe give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he hasn't pooped in a long time.
Well, he probably pooped quite a bit. Just hasn't,
probably not on stage though.
In public, in front of others.
If you actually knew that Paul had like a serious constipation problem, like a life-threatening constipation that had somehow motivated him to. Yeah, maybe that's my problem.
Karma.
I go to the bathroom too much. I need to just stay away from that.
Yeah.
Wow, let's get away from poo and talk about shitty music. No, let's talk about good music. Now, you say you're a music dork.
Yeah, big
and
time.
I've had him on before, and I've decided that I'm going to need more specifics on that. Is it just all music? There's got to be... I know a guy that follows U2 around.
Oh, I don't follow U2 around, not at all.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to be a U2 guy. You're not a fan of U2?
No, I can't stand them, really. They're really bad.
For you. They are not a positive experience.
I think they're pretty much one of the worst things you can listen to right now.
Is it right now? How about old U2?
Old U2, I can handle a little bit of Boy or maybe War, but I don't
okay,
like
so
U2,
I mean the problem with rock music right now is that there's so much history to it.
That's true. I mean, rock music is like I'm not a big rock music person. I like listening to a lot of rock and stuff, but it's not like what I.
Does it just happen in passing because people are listening to it, or
kind of? Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of friends who know a lot about rock and stuff. But I just got into jazz really young. I was playing in jazz trio for a long time in high school.
Were you in marching band?
I was not in marching band. No, we were too cool for marching band.
Okay, all right. I was in marching. I played the bass clarinet in concert band. So. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a dork.
Right. I played bass for a long time.
Bass guitar.
Yeah, I studied jazz bass. So I got really into like this jazz hole for about 8 or 9 years where, I listened. So that's all I would talk about for a long time was jazz. And
I don't know enough about jazz. I've said to people before, when will I like jazz?
Well, I mean, some people just don't like jazz, and that's fine. I think that's why people like jazz, is that not everyone likes it, and that's the great thing about it. Is it's kind of like
who's currently doing some great jazz?
I don't know. I don't really keep up with modern jazz. I don't think there's much really good modern jazz. I kind of feel like there's a good 35-year period there where a lot of great music was made, and I could listen to something new every day until I die, and I would still
not be caught up,
not past the 70s,
Right.
So,
because I'll tell you what I liked, because I like Jelly Roll Morton and I like swing,
right,
and I like marching band music, and I like John Philip Sousa. I like Duke Ellington, and I like big band.
Uh-huh.
It falls apart when there's a trumpet in an octave that only dogs can hear. That's where it falls apart for me.
Like Don Cherry, playing pocket cornet. Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
I mean, there's a lot of bad music. I think for every great jazz recording, there's all kinds of horrible stuff and stuff I've bought and sold and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I'm a record collector too. I've been collecting the records for about 10 years or so. So
okay,
that's like a.
So is there a particular instrument you like in jazz? When
I'm a big fan of the bass. What am I thinking? I'm totally spacing out. Pepper Adams. I like Pepper Adams a lot. He plays bass clarinet. And that
really?
Is incredible. I think I'm having a real brain malfunction.
I like the idea of a clarinet and
it's
low.
a great sound. Yeah, Eric Dolphy used to play a lot of bass clarinet too on a couple of his albums, and it's like this really unique sound where it's it sounds like a big snake coming out of the earth because it's so it's got the reed quality, which is super round and strong, but it's not squeaky at all.
Yeah, I like a tenor sax a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I like tenors great. You know, like there's a lot of great tenors and stuff, but I find the tenors sort of gets. You know, it's everyone tries to sound like John Coltrane at a certain point.
I think what I've heard is John Coltrane.
Yeah, he's great.
So he was. I like John Coltrane, and I like Miles Davis.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I like the new names. I've written down those names.
Oh yeah, Dolphy's great, and Eric Dolphy's. Some of his stuff's pretty experimental, but it's when he's good, it's like great stuff. With a lot of really good live recordings he did with. I mean, this is something where it's
what
like...
What time period was...
I mean,
Eric Dolphy?
He was active in the late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
He died... I can't think when he died. He died kind of young. A lot of those guys died young. Pepper Adams died young from... I think he was a heroin addict.
Yeah, there's some trouble
in
the jazz community with some drug use.
Trouble, but the thing... It's like a misnomer. A lot of people sort of...
Is it too sweeping?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people will say stuff like, "Oh, those guys are all on drugs," or "Oh, they were doing that well because of the drugs and stuff." When, in fact, almost anything, Miles Davis, for example, everything really great he did, he was clean.
Okay.
He cleaned up really early, and he really had a problem working with people who were not clean.
I bet.
But I'm not.
But people say that about stand-up too. They're just
I do.
"Oh
it's
man,
really
the
true.
geniuses of stand-up." But you're like, there's 10,000 people doing stand-up.
Right.
Mitch Hedberg and Bill Hicks and Sam Kinison and those guys are, and they're a mess.
Right.
But
And Mitch Hedberg, his best stuff, he was not when he was like off his face.
No.
Yeah.
Those last 3 years of his
Yeah.
life. I mean, those last couple of Lettermans that he did were painful to watch.
Yeah, it's bad.
So it was.
I think the
kind of
same
brutal.
goes with a lot of jazz musicians too. But they get pigeonholed a lot, which is unfortunate, I think. But
yeah,
that's like such a deep hole though to fall in because it's like that's all I cared about for a long time was all just buying jazz records and stuff, and it's so like. Have you seen the movie American Splendor?
I was going to say Swing Kids, but no. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you see that?
I haven't seen Swing Kids.
Okay. Swing Heil, man. Swing Heil. That's how it is. It's set in World War II. It's a terrible, terrible movie.
Oh, it's terrible.
But they swing dance and
I think I have seen it. Is that a Disney movie?
It feels like it, except for it's about Nazis.
It's pretty dark, yeah.
But the Nazis are buffoonish.
Isn't that a Disney produced movie? I think they might have.
They might have.
Disney hates them some Nazis.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a guy who buys jazz records. He has a limp, right? Doesn't he?
Oh, they always make the jazz fan out to be like this decrepit. It's like what's the movie with the Tom Cruise?
Castaway.
The one where he's like, "Help me!" I feel like such an old man right now. I'm like, cool. I can't think of the title of it. I'm like, "Oh, Jerry Maguire."
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
There's the jazz guy in that. He's like, doesn't get laid. He watches the kids. He's like a nerd, and that's always what they relegate jazz fans to in movies. Is like this just decrepit, isolated,
just
invalid
some
person,
hermity,
which is a lot of times true. There's a lot of people
completely invalid.
Really,
the stereotype exists for a reason. Yeah,
it does. I know a lot of record collectors who they can't talk about anything. They have their sphere of life is so narrow.
It's so narrow.
I just said made no sense. Their sphere of life. No, but they're like what they
got blinders on, and
that's all they think about, all they talk about, and there's nothing else that matters because it's like
that is what this show is based on. That's what this show is based on. Is those people who can, for an hour, discuss their love of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I can talk to those people, but at the same time, it's one of those things where
what snapped you out of it?
Well, I mean, I still love jazz.
I mean, you're in, but you have a full life.
Yeah. I mean, I started getting into reggae, which is another deep hole. Not reggae so much, but like pre-reggae, Jamaican,
pre-reggae,
like rocksteady.
Okay.
Which is like, sort of after ska came rocksteady, which is like your late '60s. That's actually a really interesting story. A lot of people credit. If you haven't heard rocksteady, it sort of sounds like ska that's slowed down and it's more melodic and stuff.
Okay.
more guitars and more harmonies. And there was an especially hot summer in Jamaica in, I think, 1968 or 69. That was so hot that dancing to ska was exhausting. So it was someone just decided to literally slow down the music a little bit. And that's how Rocksteady was kind of born.
That's awesome.
I don't think it's quite as concrete as
right.
as it sounds.
Yeah, it sounds very much like third act.
Right.
Right.
But that was sort of the genesis of Rocksteady, which I still think is like...
It's like, we'll do 2 or 3 ska songs, then we're going to slow a ska song down so that everybody can get a glass of water and just sort of sway a little bit. And fair enough, though. Have you ever been to Jamaica or anything like that?
No, I would love to go, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's not... I have to do my research. It's not like the safest place to go.
Yeah.
What about, do you ever do like music vacations? Like go out and see music?
Well, anytime I travel, the first place I'll go is a record store. So that's like where, I got a chance to go to Portland a few months ago, and the first place I hit was Mississippi Records. It's like this great record store in Portland, and they release a lot of stuff too. It's super, super great. They put out all this old like folk blues and just everything you've never heard of. All this cool Ethiopian stuff and
the Electric Fetus in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Got a lot of great. There's Roadrunner Records in Minneapolis. Jaime's Records, which was like a huge, like big time record store, and Lake Street in Minneapolis closed down like about a year ago or so, which was like a big deal because that was where Minneapolis is like a big hip hop place,
right? And
there's actually an album by this band that's called Jaime's Basement because all their samples they dug from this basement warehouse of Jaime's Records. But yeah,
do you like hip hop and stuff like that? Or?
I kind of get into it, but it's more like I don't know. I'm not. I have a lot of friends who are really into hip hop, but I'll be listening to their music and it's like, oh, that's a Syl Johnson sample, like, or that's like a.
Right,
that's a Commodore sample or something like that, and it's like to them, it's like
it's brand new. It's like they created it out of whole cloth, and you're like
There's a lot of hip hoppers who get into soul music because they listen to like Wu-Tang, like they sample a lot of Memphis soul, and like Otis Clay, all those high record stuff. But I kind of got into hip hop the other way around, where it's like I was listening to
Otis Clay.
Yeah, it was really into Memphis soul, and then it's like I recognize that, and it turns out it's like a Wu-Tang sample, or this.
Have you seen the new Jason Lee TV show, Memphis Beat?
No, I haven't.
He sings in it.
Really?
Yeah, he sings like Elvis tunes.
Elvis. People love Elvis, man. I never get that. People,
just like old people. No. The crazy thing about Elvis is that I love Elvis's movies.
Okay.
Which are musical comedies.
Right.
Yeah.
And are almost to a man terrible.
Really?
Yeah. Clambake.
What's the best one?
Follow That Dream.
Follow That Dream.
Follow That Dream is a really good one.
That
Follow That Dream is a fine tale about a hillbilly family who squats on land in Florida that is state land, and there's a local sheriff who wants to get them to move, and they're like, well, no, we're going to squat, we're going to do it, and then there's laughing and singing, and then there's a love scene,
Who's Elvis in the movie?
Elvis played the son. And then there was like a sort of a Gabby Hayes kind of dad character who was, and then his foster sister is his love interest. Not creepy enough as he watched her grow up.
That was safe back then, that's what you gotta
as long as they weren't related. But there was, that's how the bad guys tried to get him, is by saying that there was an illicit relationship. Spoiler alert. The thing is how could it be a spoiler alert from a movie from 1967?
Exactly.
You're all screwed.
I think we're safe. We're in the clear here.
Usual Suspects, it's not real. No, so it's
yeah, Elvis. Right.
Yeah. So, but you don't like Elvis very much?
I don't know. I never got into him. No, but not at all. I think Elvis unfortunately overshadows tons of other great Memphis musicians, and Memphis is like
just because he was cute.
Yeah, cute, and he's like he's cute and he's white and he's
right. There was a lot of great black artists that I understand he ripped off.
There's so many like this all that early stuff from Sun Records, and there's High Records, which that's where Al Green started. And
right.
I don't know if he started there. That's like. It's Willie Mitchell's label. And
I know the name Al Green.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the music that you're talking about. That's why I'm writing stuff down.
That's all Memphis stuff. Though,
it's called Memphis Soul is the genre?
I guess so. I mean, you could say it's I think I call it, I don't know if that's truly a genre, but it's definitely like a sound, kind of like Willie Mitchell, who's the producer, who produced almost everything that came through High Records. And there's Stax Records, which is Booker T and the MGs, and it's like Steve Cropper produced a lot of stuff, which Otis Redding came out of, and Carla Thomas and all those people, Rufus Thomas. That stuff, well, the high record stuff all sounds a certain, very specific, minimal, hyper compressed. I don't know. This is so dorky. It's
this is
I know, but it just,
it's
the
place, man.
I feel
it's
like
hyper compressed.
It's like jargon.
So.
Well, he just had like a unique style of the sound that came out of that studio.
Yeah.
Was Willie Mitchell was a total motherfucker, like a total asshole, like big time. Do you hear an interview with him? It's like every other word is a curse word.
Right.
He passed away about a year ago, but he was just tough as nails producer, and he produced.
Was he killed?
No, he died of old age. Yeah, he died of old age.
He was an asshole. No, but he died of old age.
Well, I mean, he was an asshole. He
bed.
was just like, he was tough.
Oh, he's a tough as nails kind of guy.
Tough guy who, without having someone that dedicated to it, I don't think he would have any of that music. But he had this theater in Memphis with like really heavy concrete floors, and
the acoustics on it were amazing.
Yeah,
or something?
Great acoustics, and he also had this band, the Hodges Brothers, who are kind of the reason that all that stuff sounds that way. You know how Al Green has that kind of dark, spacey, real minimal sound to it? That's all from the Hodges Brothers, their style of playing. And this is a cool story where I guess Michael Jackson tried to buy 2 of Willie Mitchell's preamps from him about maybe 10, 15 years ago. Because these preamps, like these famous, big, like, they probably a couple 100 pounds each. And they're a really important part of this way the stuff sounds. And he's like, fuck no, I'm not going to sell my preamps to you. Michael Jackson was going to give him like, $500,000. He was like, no, I'm not going to sell these to you.
Nope.
Yeah, so.
I'm still using them.
Yeah.
You can get them from my cold, dead hand.
Yep.
But have you been to, do you go see live music, or is it mostly pre-recorded?
I used to go see a lot of live music, but I feel like it's the same with what Margie was saying, how like comedy, it's like, you just, especially in Los Angeles, it's sort of like there's so much to choose from. It's like, what do you go see?
I know, and the thing is if I'm going to go to theater, it's, because I went to Largo the other night, and I saw a thing called Thrilling Adventure Hour. Ooh, and it's amazing.
Really?
It's this thing of it's old-timey radio, and I've seen it done poorly. And I have seen it done well, my friends.
That's cool.
And it's written by these 2 guys named, literally their names are Ben Acker and Ben Slacker. And they have like fake ads for Patriot brand cigarettes and that's
cool.
And they have like the guy who does the voice of Dr. Venture from the Venture Brothers.
Oh yeah, that's a great show.
James Urbaniak, I think his name is.
That's right.
He is one of the performers, and then Paul F. Tompkins is in it, and Mark Evan Jackson is in it. I mean, there's a lot of, and it's amazing who's in it.
That sounds cool, yeah.
And it was sold out, and I had never heard of it. Because Los Angeles is full of things that are sold out and amazing that you've never heard of.
Right.
Because
there's so many things that are overpowering it, like ads for liposuction and stuff like that.
Right,
so you don't really...
right. But at any given evening, someone's doing something amazing here because there's 100,000 people that are amazingly gifted that no one's ever heard of.
Yep.
Well, and how did you know to go to that show? Was it because like
a friend of Andy's?
Oh, wow.
No, a friend of Andy's is a huge fan of it.
Because, I would think I wouldn't enjoy something like that unless it was done really well, but you never know what you're going to get.
Right, you never know. And they go every month. And it isn't cheap, actually. It isn't like UCB. It was $25 for a ticket, which isn't expensive for theater.
You get what you pay for there,
You
right?
get, I mean, you completely get what you pay for. And
it's
only it's a 250-seat theater. And it was completely sold out.
I still haven't been to the new Largo yet.
Yeah, and then they have a little room too that seats about 40 or 50.
The Coronet room, is that?
The Coronet is the name of the theater, and then the little room, and then the big room. Okay. Yeah, so the Coronet is I think the building or something. But it's and that's another guy, Flanagan, the guy that owns that space or runs that space. He is he's a real
supportive connoisseur.
Yeah, incredible.
He's got taste that kind of goes back further. That's why I feel like there's a lot of stuff that. So much new crap that's so, it's quick to spring up, but it's also like it's quick to die. But his taste is, he likes a lot of older stuff.
Right, and he's willing to give those people the time and space. Like,
which is nice.
Old Largo, I was there one time, and I got to meet Ricky Lee Jones,
really?
Who was just standing there. She's like, "Hi, nice to meet you." And I was like, "Yeah, hi." And it's so interesting living in Los Angeles anyway when you meet famous people and they're just people.
Yeah.
And because most of the time they're just normal. They're not crazy, I have an entourage kind of dudes. They're just, like I met Mort Saul a couple of weeks ago, And he was just, he's 85 years old, so he was just sitting there and holding court to some extent because he's old. But I was like, oh my God. And I didn't even... Yeah, it was him and Robin Williams in the green room. And they were both talking about how much they love Jonathan Winters. And I have no idea what the stories were because all I could think was, that's Mark Zoll. Yeah. There's Robin Williams. Funny. And they're just talking. I'm like, just me looking at him like a crazy person.
Big deal.
No big deal.
I feel like I feel lucky because a lot of the people I really like are not lucky, but just most of them are dead. So it's like I don't have to worry about
being overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, like I can't go see Sly and the Family Stone.
Right.
I can't. There's a lot of stuff where it's.
Did you ever see that Dick Cavett?
No.
Have you seen the old Dick Cavett with Sly and the Family Stone?
I've seen a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah. It's
on YouTube, I think I saw them on YouTube.
Right, because they interview, and it's interesting, all the interviews they have, like with Jimi Hendrix and Sly and Janis Joplin, because it's much like what you were saying about the jazz musicians, you think that they're stoned all the time.
Right.
And they aren't. They're on television.
Right.
So they've cleaned up their act, and they're going to have...
Sly, except I know Sly has he's still alive.
Sly, didn't he do the VMAs a couple of years ago or something?
He has like a career flake problem though. He was flaking back in like 1969 all the time because he was such a big cokehead. Still is a big cokehead. I'm pretty sure.
Oh really?
Yeah, I saw him at House of Blues about 2 years ago.
Coke is back.
He touched I got to touch Sly Stone's shoulder, which is still this day like
it's one of the coolest.
Yeah, I actually touched his shoulder and I squeezed it and I was like I could feel Sly Stone's bones. The funkiest bones in the whole world.
The funkiest bones still alive.
Yeah.
Do you know Shuggy Otis? Have you ever heard of
Shuggy Otis? Love Shuggy Otis.
Is he timeless? Because someone gave me, Jim Wooster gave me one of his albums a couple of years ago.
I mean,
how long's he been in?
He's been
around
stuff,
for a while? Or?
Yeah, he's been for a long time. His dad, I think his dad is not Johnny Otis. He definitely comes from like a musical family, and his stuff is great. Yeah, he's like got that. He kind of invented what they call California psychedelia, I guess you could say.
Right. It seems
It's like a mix
cool.
of.
It's a bow chicka bow bow.
Sounds like
it's a little bit like that, but less porny.
Is it like porny?
It isn't porny, but it's got that sort of beast.
Yeah,
it's got that.
Funky.
It's funky, so it's got that kind of that 70s porn soundtrack kind of feel.
Some of my
to
girlfriend does not like because I play it. She's like, there's one album I have of his where she doesn't like because it sounds. I can't remember what she said. It sounds like she's in like on the bus or something like that. Because it's kind of a little bit Tavis Smiley-esque, you know what I'm saying? Like a little bit like...
Nothing wrong with Tavis Smiley,
nothing
though.
wrong with Tavis Smiley, but certain things
she's
not for everybody.
It's, no truer words, my friend.
Right.
I tried to listen to the new Willie Nelson album.
Willie Nelson? Is it good?
Terrible.
And I love Willie Nelson.
I love him, too.
Old Willie Nelson is genius.
Yeah.
Great. When I was a kid, I used to say to my mom, I would say... I wish Willie Nelson was my grandpa because I really loved Willie Nelson.
Yeah, he would be a great grandpa.
He'd be great.
Yeah.
He'd be the ultimate grandpa.
He would be. He's got a song about how what made me really mad because I'm sure that there's better songs, but I stopped listening at people who believe in evolution. It was a song about saying that the line was something like, "I'd rather be the monkey than believe that I came from a monkey."
Really?
And but not realizing, of course, that evolutionists don't believe we came from monkeys.
Right.
It believes we all monkeys and us came from the same primordial ooze.
Well, maybe Willie just meant to say something else because
that's what I like to think.
He smoked a considerable amount of marijuana.
He has smoked an enormous number.
He could probably build a house with the bricks
of weed that he has consumed.
Right.
It's you're in a lovely neighborhood here in Van Nuys, California, where we have no less than 13 marijuana dispensaries within walking distance.
That's kind of a low number, actually, isn't it? At least
within walking distance.
Yeah, walking distance. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking 3.5 blocks because it's L.A.
I mean, I walk pretty far for some weed. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, so you guys, seriously, it's almost been an hour.
It is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
look at the modern clock.
Do you want to? We got a modern clock right there. That was a gift. And so we've talked Broadway, we've talked theater. It's been fascinating, quite honestly. You guys are great. This was super awesome.
Yeah.
But let's tell people where they can see you. And of course on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, we're all on those, right? Under your names, which will be linked on the on the program notes.
Cool.
JohnnyPemberton.com and MargieKment.com. And so, Margie, you have a couple of shows here in Los Angeles coming up, and then you're going to New York for a week, right?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Thursday, I have a storytelling show called This One Time that I run with Charlie Sanders, you've done it at
I
the
have.
Zephyr Theater. It's
The
really
Zephyr Theater
fun,
here in Los
true
Angeles.
funny stories with lots of really good comedians. So that's Thursday night at 9. And Sunday, every Sunday, with
Every
Zach
Sunday.
Sherwin, I do a stand-up show, which you've done. You were there on Sunday.
Zach Sherwin, friend of the show's, Mr. Napkins.
MC
Yeah,
Mr.
MC
Napkins,
Mr.
yeah.
Napkins.
He is. He's in the archives, people.
Yeah, it's at Tex in Echo Park.
Is
and
it
it's really fun.
pronounced Tex?
Tex?
Because it is a
It's Tex.
French.
Text.
It's a family name, apparently, because I was saying Tay for...
Right,
you
because
know,
Tay would have been the French pronunciation.
no.
But,
But
the
it's
owner...
Tex.
It's
All right.
The owner's Mike Tex. And,
Mike Tex.
And
Is he
they're
French?
fabulous over there. Mm-hmm.
Speaks French?
All right.
Yeah, it's a French
Si
restaurant.
j'étais un garçon, je
And then,
vais
yeah,
ici.
and then in New York, a few shows, but...
Right, you're doing the camp show, the cabin?
Cabin, yeah.
Cabin in New York City.
Yeah.
And check your website, obviously, or Facebook
yeah.
or whatever
Yeah,
for more dates and stuff like that. Johnny Pemberton, you're here in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Next couple of weeks doing some sets?
Yeah, I think I'm doing the Belly Room on the 19th
At the Comedy Store.
I'm doing that show at
Bar Lubitz, the
right,
23rd.
Josh and Josh show on Thursday. And I think I might be doing some stuff in San Francisco October 15th, maybe October 16th.
Okay.
First time there, so we'll see.
Cool.
Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
I'll know when later.
Closer to?
Where?
Closer
yeah.
to, so people should follow you on Twitter and
Twit
look
it.
at your Facebook. I am in Roswell, Georgia
Cool.
next weekend.
That's where my mom's side of the family lives there, Roswell. That's actually where David Cross is from, I think.
Is
Is
it?
it really?
Yeah.
I'm
I think
going to
it
be
is.
playing at the Funny Farm, which, get this, Dork fans, it is, they've got a go-kart track right next to the club, and
They have
I
a
will be go-karting.
Really good barbecue
Cool.
place there if you like pork barbecue.
It turns out I do. I do like
okay,
pork
I'll tell you about
barbecue.
it later. It
And
is
the week
so
after
good.
that,
God,
I am
it's
in
good.
Vegas at the Improv at Harrah's with, speaking of the elderly, Shelley Berman. I'm going to be featuring for Shelley Berman, who is literally 85 years old and is playing judges on things like CSI. And I can't wait to meet him because I bet he has a lot of awesome, awesome stories. Thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you.
on the Dork
Thank
Forest.
you.
Go to the websites, download the show. It's on iTunes. If you're not going to hear it if you haven't changed your URL from the old iTunes thing. So, well, good luck. So you have to unsubscribe and resubscribe on iTunes. Feel free, by the way, to review the program on iTunes because it helps.
And get a T-shirt.
You get a T-
You
Oh.
have the best podcast T-shirts.
Oh, right. The Ranger of the Dork Forest T-shirt.
The coolest shirt.
It is the coolest shirt designed by a young artiste by the name of Salmon Beemel Ben Rude. That's my nephew, and he was named Salmon Beemel Ben Rude. It's not his fault, but he had to become an artist. Thank you so much for listening to the Dork Forest. Have a good night.